My wife was drunk, and I don't know what's true anymore. Hey, Reddit, I don't know where else to put this. Maybe I just need to get it off my chest. Maybe I need someone to tell me I'm not going crazy. I haven't slept in over 30 hours, and what happened last night keeps replaying in my head, over and over like a looped tape with no end. We've been married 5 years. I thought we were good, comfortable, not perfect, but solid. I was wrong. 10:47 p.m. She stumbled through the door. The first thing I noticed was the sound of her keys hitting the floor. Then came the laugh, too loud, too drawn out, like she was trying to mimic someone else's laugh and didn't know when to stop. I walked into the hallway and saw her leaning against the doorframe like it was the only thing keeping her upright. She looked at me, smiled wide, and said, "Hey, you?" Slurred, way too slurred. "Are you drunk?" I asked stupidly. She burst out laughing again. "Barbie," she said, drawing out the word like it hurt her lips. "It was just one girl's night, don't be boring." But here's the thing, my wife doesn't drink. She stopped 3 years ago after a bad panic attack at her sister's wedding. She swore off alcohol entirely, said it made her feel like her skin was on fire. I remember those exact words. So seeing her like this, sweaty, off balance, mascara smudged, reeking of tequila and perfume I didn't recognize, immediately made my stomach twist. 11:14 p.m., the picture frame. I got her into bed after she threw up twice. Her phone kept buzzing while I was cleaning up the bathroom. I tried not to look, but then a name popped up I didn't recognize. Jamie, work. The message preview read, "Tell him yet." I just stared at it. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. My heart started pounding in that way where you feel it in your throat, not in your chest. As I walked back into our bedroom, I accidentally stepped on something. Glass. The picture frame from our anniversary photo was on the floor, shattered. Her side of the bed was empty. 11:26 p.m. In the closet. I found her sitting in the dark of our walk-in closet, cross-legged, clutching one of my hoodies to her chest. Her eyes were glassy but wide open. "What are you doing?" I asked gently. "I miss you," she said. I froze. "I'm right here." "No, not you now," she said, her voice suddenly brittle. You before you started noticing everything." Then she laughed, but it wasn't a drunk laugh. It was something else, something hollow. I sat next to her and asked, "What's going on, Em?" And she just shook her head. "I can't say it. If I say it, it's real." 12:03 a.m. The voicemail. Her phone buzzed again. I let it go to voicemail. Then it buzzed again. Same number, unknown. Against my better judgment, I answered. There was silence at first, then a man's voice. "Tell her to call me back. She promised me she would. It's not fair to leave me in the dark like this." Then he hung up. I stared at the phone, heart thundering. 12:17 a.m. The journal. I couldn't sleep. She had passed out cold, fully dressed, still holding the hoodie. I sat in the living room staring at nothing. Then I remembered something. She's been journaling lately, almost obsessively. I always respected her privacy, but tonight was not a normal night. I found the black moleskin in her nightstand drawer. My hands were sweating as I flipped through. It wasn't a journal, it was a confession, or pieces of one. There are two truths, and I'm living both. I love him, and I love someone else. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Sometimes I dream I tell him and he forgives me. Sometimes I dream I disappear instead. Jamie says I'm a coward, he's not wrong. My throat went dry. Jamie, that was the name on the text. 12:41 a.m. I confronted her. I shook her awake. I didn't plan to, but I couldn't hold it anymore. I asked her who Jamie was. She blinked at me, slow and drunk, then said, "Oh, that's all. Just oh." Then she whispered, "It's not what you think," I snapped. "Then what is it? 'Cause I read what you wrote. I heard the voicemail. There's a man who thinks you owe him something." She sat up slowly and whispered, "He's sick." I stared. "Sick how?" "I don't know if he's lying or not," she said. "He said he had cancer. He said he didn't want to die without knowing me. I believed him. Maybe I wanted to." I said nothing. I was trying to breathe. 1:23 a.m. The truth, or some of it. She told me Jamie was a co-worker from a project last year. They started talking. She liked the attention. He told her he was dying, that his wife had left him, that he just wanted someone to understand him before it was too late. "I thought I was helping," she kept saying. "I thought it was emotional support. I told myself that." "But was it more?" I asked. She didn't answer, just stared at the wall. And then she whispered, "He said he was going to tell you." "Tell me what?" She looked at me and didn't blink. "That I kissed him. Once, maybe twice." 2:05 a.m. I drove. I needed to get out. I left her there in bed, now crying softly into her pillow. I drove around the neighborhood aimlessly. At one point I pulled over and dry heaved on the side of the road. The worst part isn't the cheating, it's the not knowing what's real. Did he lie about being sick? Did she lie about how far it went? Did she ever really stop drinking? Did I miss the signs because I didn't want to see them? 3:22 a.m. I came home. She was still awake, sitting at the kitchen table with a glass of water, staring out the window. She didn't look up when I came in. "I don't think I'm okay," she said softly. "I don't mean just tonight. I mean, something's wrong with me." We sat in silence for a long time. 4:01 a.m. I asked her if she wanted to stay. She didn't answer for a full minute. Then she said, "I don't know." Now, I'm sitting here posting this. I don't know if I'm looking for advice or validation or just someone to hear me. We always think we'll know what to do in these moments when the truth finally comes out. But I don't. I feel like I'm watching our life through glass. I still love her, but I don't know if that's enough. She says she's broken. I think I might be too now. I'll probably delete this later. TLDR, my wife came home drunk for the first time in 3 years. What followed was a night of half confessions, a mysterious man, a journal full of regret, and the unravelling of everything I thought I knew. Hey Reddit! I posted here about 24 hours ago, and I haven't replied to anyone yet. I've just been reading quietly, trying not to drown. Thank you to everyone who messaged or commented, even the harsh ones, especially those maybe. A few of you said something that stuck with me. You only know the story she wants you to know. I think I've started to find out the rest. I didn't sleep. Again. This is how the rest of that night and today unfolded. And 6:11 a.m. she was gone. I woke up on the couch to the sound of the door closing. She left a note on the kitchen table. "I'm not running. I just need to think. Please don't follow me today. I'll call you tonight. I love you even if I don't deserve to." It wasn't her handwriting at first glance. It was neater. Too careful. Like she rewrote it 4 times. I wanted to chase her, but I didn't. 8:03 a.m. I called Jamie. Yeah, I know. But the number was still in her call history, and I needed answers. He picked up after 2 rings. Sounded groggy, maybe hungover. "This is Jamie," he said. I paused. "This is Emily's husband." Silence. Then, "Shit," I said. "I don't want to play games. I just want to know the truth. Was she telling me the truth?" He sighed. "Which part?" That told me everything I needed. 8:12 a.m. The conversation. He told me he never had cancer. That part was a lie. Said it was a test, a crutch. I could hear in his voice he knew how pathetic it sounded. He said they never slept together. "Not that I didn't try," he added, like that made him noble. "She kissed me once, maybe twice, but it was never going to happen. She'd start crying after, say she hated herself. You should know that." I said nothing. "She loved you," he said, almost defensive now. "That's why I kept waiting, hoping she'd stop lying to herself, but she wouldn't. Not really." I asked him, "Why are you still calling her?" He said, "Because I was part of something real to her, and I want her to admit it before she disappears back into your life like none of this happened." I hung up. 11:46 a.m. I talked to her sister. I needed someone who knew her, really knew her. I called her sister Rachel. I told her what was happening. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I was wondering when this would surface." I froze. "What do you mean?" She told me there were things about Emily I didn't know. That before we met, Emily had a pattern. Periods of spiraling, secret-keeping, bursts of hyper-attachment followed by sudden withdrawal. That she'd always find a way to sabotage anything stable. Relationships, work, even friendships. Rachel said they never talked about it openly because their mum was like that too. Brilliant and kind, but self-destructive in cycles. She doesn't want to be this way, but she doesn't know how not to be. 1:15 p.m. I checked our bank account. I wish I hadn't. She'd withdrawn $1,200 yesterday in cash, all at once. She never carries more than $60. I don't know what it was for. I don't know if I want to know. 5:34 p.m. she called. She sounded clearer. Not sober exactly, more like someone who's been crying for 10 hours and finally gave up. She said, "I'm sorry." I asked where she was. She said she was in a hotel. Not to punish me, just to sit with the truth without trying to edit it. She told me she wanted to tell me everything, all of it. The bad version, not the version I rehearsed. I told her I'd come. 6:27 p.m. The hotel room, room 312. Cheap place. Smelled like cigarettes and lemon cleaner. She looked smaller than I remembered. Older, but beautiful in a wounded sort of way. She told me about everything. The nights she said she was working late, she wasn't. She'd been going to a bar near her office, not to drink at first, just to be alone. That's where she ran into Jamie the second time, after the project ended. That's when it started. The emotional affair lasted 4 months. She ended it 6 weeks ago. He started calling again 2 weeks ago. The night she came home drunk, she was afraid he was going to come to the house. That broke me. You brought that here, I said. You risked him showing up at our home. She just cried. 7:41 p.m. The twist I wasn't ready for. She said, there's something else, I didn't know whether to tell you. Of course there was. She handed me her phone and pulled up a folder in her notes app. Password protected. She unlocked it. It was full of unsent letters. To me, to Jamie, to herself. Some were dated before she kissed Jamie. Some read like apologies for things she hadn't done yet. Maybe I'm trying to ruin this before it ruins me. He's good to me, and I don't believe I deserve it. I know I'm making a mistake. I can feel it. But it also feels like something I can't stop, like scratching a wound until it bleeds. Then she said it. I think I need help, not couples therapy, real help. I don't trust my brain anymore. Now, I'm sitting in the car outside the hotel. I don't know what happens next. She's staying there tonight. I told her I needed time to decide what I want. I'm not even sure if she knows who she is outside of her damage. And I'm not sure if I can be the person who waits for her to find out. Reddit. What do you do when the person you love is real and broken and guilty? And still, somehow, part of you wants to protect them. What do you do when you realize the truth isn't a single event? It's a whole world you never knew existed. I wish I could wrap this up neatly. I wish I had a resolution. But this isn't a movie. I just have a key in my pocket, a car engine running, and a heart that feels like it's not mine anymore. TLDR, again. I confronted my wife's emotional affair. Turns out it was worse and deeper than I imagined. She confessed everything, including some painful truths about her mental health. I don't know if our marriage will survive this, or if it even should.